thank you all for waiting so long. We thought we had a lot of traffic in New York City. Clearly, we were mistaken. It has a lot more traffic than we could ever imagine. We really would like to thank all of you for allowing us to be here with you today. Part of our work, Antonio, I really get you to say Antonio and introduce us several times. This is Antonio, your specialist, and I'm a family therapist. And we work together, actually. And the work that we do, we're gonna bring you into the work and show you what we do. But one of the things that we do really well is we go into people's homes and we do therapy in people's homes. And I'm just looking around this room right now, seeing the decoration and seeing all the people here. And it feels like there's almost a family that exists in this room of professionals and laymen coming together around one important issue. And I think we both like to thank you for inviting us into your home. There's also a few special people we'd like to thank, but I think I'm going to mispronounce the accents, so Antonio will say this.
Hola, buenos días y muchas gracias por recibirnos. Es un placer estar aquí con ustedes y compartir un poco del trabajo que hace el servidor. Yo como par y en un equipo de profesionales. Me gustaría darle las gracias a Miguel, a Ángel Castejón por la invitación y todo lo que han hecho por nosotros desde que llegamos aquí. Y a la señora doctora María Carmen de Secretaria y al doctor Yuri Carmen, muchas gracias por recibirnos. Aquí esperando que podamos traerles el trabajo que para mí es algo muy importante, algo que para mí he vivido con parte en mi vida con este problema de mental, en mi vida con muchos años también, no nada más sufro por la depresión, pero también ya tengo 18 años donde no consumo alcohol ni droga. Y parte de este trabajo que hago es compartir esa parte de mi vida para dar la terapia con Ruti y con los otros partes del equipo en México. Muchas gracias.
Gracias, Antonio. So bear with us. We are hoping that the video works. A big part of today's lecture is video, so we are really hoping for this. We promised you something about new approaches to treatment in the age of millennials. So I was hearing that people just want to hear a lot about new treatment, but as we said, we're going to show you a little bit about millennials. And I'd like to begin and maybe wake us up this morning with a song written by a millennial, Mary Lambert. The song is in English. However, we hope that between her expressive emotions and our Spanish transcript, if it's there, her message will not be lost.
Visto, vamos a tener problemas con los videos, así es de que quizás esta tarde en la segunda parte podemos pasar los videos y tener discusión sobre los videos para que vean un poco de lo que hacemos.
So we're called the needs adaptive treatment model, so we're going to have to adapt, even though I'm pretty rigid. I spent a lot of time on that video. Okay, so no random applause for Mary Lambert, because I said otherwise. But in her music video, which maybe we'll get to see, and if not, you can check it out online. She talks about what it's like to live with mental illness and to live with secrets. And we're going to move along. Sorry, I missed the video, but I think we'll hopefully during the break have a chance to fix it and get it to you so that you can see it. So people, today's lecture is going to be divided into two parts, right? The first part will share some of the challenges we have noticed facing young individuals entering the world of psychosis. The second part, right, as I said, will be addressing alternative treatment approaches, which will include peer support, relational therapy, and dialogical therapy. You might notice that we go back and forth between the different parts, and this is intentional. Some of the work will hopefully be demonstrated by pop culture, as we were trying to do with Mary Lambert, some local videos that we think that you'll enjoy, a case study of twins that we studied for about 4 years, undergoing shared psychosis, maybe a joke here and there, and of course, some dialogue. Shall we begin, Antonio? Just give us a minute as we ask them to go back. Sorry, we were trying to find the video, but I don't think it's going to happen at this part of the lecture. Thank you for bearing with us and for being so very patient. So today, in 2017, more and more youth are, quote, coming out, right? They're coming out with secrets. And how are they doing it? They're doing it through social media, right? Facebook, Instagram, all kinds of other ways that they're coming out about it. Mental illness is not immune to this evolutionary process. This is truly happening. And if you are a small, tiny bit skeptical about this process, don't take my word for it, look it up, Google it. You'll be amazed to see what's out there. This way of sharing does have the ability to leave individuals feeling empowered, supported, and cared for by their peers and friends. Likes on Facebook and comments can begin to act as a support group for similar-minded individuals and can create a digital community. However, it also leaves room for these kids to experience a higher likelihood of bullying. On the family side of things, it has the ability to leave parents and family members feeling embarrassed, ashamed, frustrated. One thing we know about families is they're pretty good at keeping secrets, yeah? What goes on under this roof stays under this roof. What goes on in this family stays in this family. So, to continue to talk about what's facing millennials in 2017 in the world of mental health, amid fake news, which I'm sure we've heard lots about, especially in the US, lots of fake news about it. Microchips, Snapchat. Have you seen the photos on Snapchat? They're very interesting. You can look like a devil herself. Facebook camera, synthetic drugs such as K2. For example, millennials entering into the world of psychosis are facing new challenges. Challenges leaving many feeling helpless, discerning between what is real and what is not. Should they believe the voices and hallucinations or the simulated image their friend just sent them on Snapchat? We hear this from our clients, things like, how do I know my mind is not playing tricks on me? Maybe my friends are, quote, trying to mess with me because they are the crazy ones sending crazy stuff. Right? So is it really that they're seeing the devil? Or did their friend just dress themselves up on a Snapchat video like a devil? Psychosis for a long time, a very long time, has followed the trends of its time, which would not make this surprising. Right? From sorcerers and witchcraft, which we know all too well in the US from our famous Salem witch trials, to the invention of the television and computers. Right? Psychosis has sort of followed the patterns. Right? So if we were living a long time ago, we might be seeing a very different delusion or hallucination popping up. I spoke with older therapists, older psychiatrists, now in retirement, and they're able to share how very different the things that people were bringing up were in terms of conversation. Honestly, we and many of our colleagues are grateful each day that we were actually not in this profession during the invention of the television. And, right, entering homes. Can you imagine that? I think we all can, because with our smartphones and our wireless world, technology, as wonderful as it is, has an unintended consequence for those living with psychosis. What we have seen is that it has become increasingly difficult distinguishing between reality and delusion, and thus making it harder for younger individuals to come to terms with their first onset of mental illness. As we delve into treatment approaches, you will notice that we mostly use the word psychosis, which includes any form of psychotic element, meaning any form of hallucination, delusion. We don't, for the purpose of our talk, we don't differentiate between affect disorders, schizophrenia, organic disorders, so bipolar disorder, any form of psychotic behavior, thought, delusional thought, we call it all psychosis, and we're going to talk about it from that perspective. So we're not just talking about people with schizophrenia, we're talking about people that might have been impacted either through an affect disorder or through something organic going on in their mind, such as drugs for that matter. So we'll get into that in a bit. That's a new problem we're having in the US. I don't know if we're having it here. I imagine it's not all that difficult. All right. Although a bit difficult to watch, and it's already up on the screen, so the element of surprise has been taken out. We're going to Pardon me, I'm wondering why this is up there, and I realize it's because we're not going to show you the amazing video that we have. I apologize. Thank you, Antonio, for giving me that look. We know each other so well that he looks at me. I already know, like you say, we already have the video taken out. Okay. Apologize. So we're going to show you the slides up here. Antonio, if you can take a moment to read this. This is a little hard to show, although you've seen it.
Esta fue lo que pensábamos en Nueva York era parte de algo terrorismo, pero no fue una persona que estaba debajo de la sustancia que se llama K2 en los Estados Unidos. Y como ven los títulos de los varios papeles del Telegraph, del New York Times y The Time, donde esta persona con su auto atropelló a las las personas que se encontraban en Times Square. Dice motorista de choque en Times Square oyó voces que le decían que tenía que hacer esto. Antes del choque, el motorista de Times Square padeciendo de paranoia y acoso. Oficiales motorista que chocó con peatones en Times Square creía que oía voces, y esto es parte de lo que trabajamos con las personas que oyen voces. Cuando hicimos el busco de lo que había pasado, esto es lo que encontramos. Como ven, se ponen en Google Times Square Hearing Voices, y eso es una de las cosas que estuve compartiendo con Miguel, de cómo utilizamos el internet para buscar, sea tratamientos, sea medicamento, y a veces con las personas que trabajamos, cuando entramos a trabajar con ellos, entonces ellos nos dan lo que han buscado, por qué deciden no tomar los medicamentos, que es los que los demás están compartiendo en el internet. Así de que no nada más podemos oír las voces, pero también estamos buscando por las informaciones que otros estén compartiendo por el internet.
So I find this slide heartbreaking, and I do find this slide heartbreaking. I had to make a decision whether I was going to bring this into this room, and I thought it would be amiss not to. You know, it's very sad that the words Times Square, which is a famous place in New York, and the word Hearing Voices comes up with this imagery. And it is heartbreaking, because if you look underneath the blue scribble, which wasn't there intentionally, you know, it's a young woman, 18 years old, who's no longer with us. Everyone in this room has a huge responsibility on their shoulders. When we are working with individuals with mental illness, with mental health, this is life and death situations. It doesn't feel like that on the day-to-day. You know, you go session after session, you're not really sure if this is helping or not helping, but you're keeping the person either out of the hospital or out of harm's way, or you're keeping someone like this woman who could have been alive. Now in this case, this was due, as Antonio mentioned, to K2, synthetic marijuana. I imagine you have some form of this problem here. Whatever the reason of hearing voices, we want to be there to help people. And I think that this is a way to really help us maybe segue into, without the video, we were going to show you some video. Sorry to keep talking about it. We're going to segue into alternative treatment approaches and take a step back and show you what we do, some of these new techniques. And we're going to show you where these treatment techniques took root, right? How they moved from Finland to New York City. It only visited Madrid, but landed here in Lima. So if you look up over there, we have a little bit of a timeline to give you a sense of this treatment. So the treatment is called Open Dialogue, or NATM, and people get very confused, right? So we have the Needs Adaptive Treatment modality, and we have something called Open Dialogue. They are pretty much one and the same. We use NATM because that's what our teachers taught us from Sweden and Germany. But it preceded Open Dialogue. It's very similar. It's hard to differentiate the two. The thing to keep in mind is if you look up 1950s, family therapy was developed. So Open Dialogue comes right out of family therapy. I have an affinity towards it, being a family therapist. I studied at the Ackerman Institute, where family therapy was really developed in New York. In the 1970s, I'm sure you've heard about the Soteria houses. That's when they popped up, right? In the 1980s, the Finnish National Schizophrenia Project took place. That's when it started. And then in the 1990s, really in Sweden and Finland and other places, Open Dialogue, really Jaakko Sekila, the sort of famous name, starts Open Dialogue. They start a parachute model in Sweden. They start Swedish Parachute. And what happens in 2009 is there's a conference that takes place, and a bunch, the ISPS conference, which happens annually. And Dr. Pablo Sadler was there and met our trainers for the first time and started to hear more about open dialogue. And got very interested in this piece. What is it? How does it work? And somehow managed to write a grant to New York City and New York State explaining that we need treatment and we need to change the way things are. And he got a huge grant. I'll say the number because it is public information. He got $18 million to do this work. And with that money, he spent most of it on trainers, bringing people from Sweden, Germany, other places to teach us for a year, and then to train us for 3 years, and then to train us how to be trainers. So they invested all this time. So what happened in 2010, so let's say about 5 years ago, right? So about almost 5 years ago, Parachute New York City opens up. What is it? We're going to get more into detail about it. But it is an in-home-based treatment program that brings together different disciplines. Myself, Antonio, your specialist, psychiatrists, social workers, other therapists. And that continues, and we go into people's homes, and we're going to give more of the detail. We just want to give you a timeline. And then what you see on the bottom there is a glass leaf, which is what comes out of Parachute, which is what we're doing here today, is trying to spread this message across the globe. And that's the sort of evolution from there. Okay, so who and what makes up the treatment team? Right? What is this sort of team? You might be wondering, what do we do? We're a mobile team. So clients, right, ordinarily, one of the biggest problems that we noticed, or that individuals who came before us noticed, is getting individuals with severe mental illness into a clinic, into an appointment. Getting them out of their home, right, and getting them to come once a week and sit in the chair across from you and have a therapy session. Anybody have any cancellations recently? Any? I'm sure. Probably a little more than that. So the idea is that we go in groups of 2 or 3, so it would be either a therapist, a peer specialist, and a psychiatrist, going into homes, making visits where the client is. Okay? And it's multidisciplinary, as you can see, right? So we really have everyone doing that. And the thing that's different, so what happened when they did the Parachute model in Sweden, and when they did open dialogue, they used the need adaptive treatment modality. And so when our trainers came to visit New York, they didn't know what to do with themselves. They were beside themselves, actually, because they found out that the whole team, before they arrived, had been trained in intentional peer support. Antonio was trained in it, and I was trained in it before we had learned the sort of Finnish way of working. And they had to figure out how in the world they can combine the two. And they found out that they were actually not that different. And that's what we do, is we work interdisciplinary. Sounds a lot easier than it actually is, I imagine. Have you ever tried to have an opinion and have a colleague have another opinion? So imagine if, I guess, you're a family therapist, you're a peer specialist, right? I don't know if you have something you want to share.
Sí, y esto es parte del trabajo que hacemos y de mi parte tengo que ser muy transparente de la manera que trabajo y a veces en la manera que trabajamos en equipo. Y les voy a ser sincero y decirles que en este momento la ansiedad y el estrés está muy alto para mí porque como he visto nada de lo que hemos preparado ha salido de la manera que hemos querido y esa es parte de lo que tenemos que discutir en equipo cuando estamos con las personas, que se diga algo y estar de acuerdo o desacuerdo con eso y poder tener esas conversaciones con la familia y la persona. Y para mí, cuando estoy trabajando con alguien, y yo no les llamo cliente, paciente, son personas para mí como yo. Y trato que ellos mismos puedan sentirse de esa manera. Así es de que parte y vamos a hablar mucho más después de de cómo cambiar el lenguaje que todos usamos para que todos estemos de acuerdo y respetuosos de las personas, y que ese lenguaje empiece de ahí empiezan a hacer la recuperación, el estímulo de uno, para que empiecen ellos mismos a tomar, a hacerse cargos de sus vidas y de sus caminos.
Thank you, Antonio. We're going to hear more about his role in a moment. So just very quickly and briefly, who are we treating? In this part 2, we'll show you who we're treating. But right now, it's any individual between about 16 to 45 that's with symptoms of psychosis of any kind, including affect disorders. Individuals must have stable housing, right? So we can't work with individuals in a homeless shelter, because the thing is that housing is most essential. When you don't have a place to live or a place to rest, it can become very hard to work towards your wellness. And we find that it's most effective to work with people that have stable housing. It sounds like a very small thing, but in New York, a lot of people are homeless, and unfortunately, we don't work with that population. And the thing that's most important here is what's called a network meeting, which is family and friends willing to engage, willing to get together, and let us come over and talk, right? Talk with the individual we're serving, talk as a group. And one of the ways that we sometimes get the individual to talk is not with me. They're not really interested in speaking to me. I'm a therapist, gosh, right? But I bring Antonio along, and he says things like, I'm a peer specialist. A peer what? A what? Right? They have no idea what this is. But once he starts to disclose a little bit about himself, suddenly you have a kid cursing me out, literally, right? Yelling, not really wanting to sit down, suddenly comes back to the circle for a moment and is willing to talk. So I think, what I want us to do now is to take a little bit of time, 20 minutes or so, and for Antonio to share with us, what is it that peer specialists do? Why are they so important? What's so interesting about that? Why don't they really exist all over the United States? By the way, they don't. They really just don't. They're getting there, but what's happening in New York is cutting edge, I think. The kind of peer specialist work we're going to show you here, people in the United States are not exposed to this. This is like a New York thing, and Boston and a few other places, but this is not the kind of work that everyone yet knows about, and so it's really a pleasure. And Antonio speaks Spanish too, so that's good.
Gracias, Lucy. Y estaba pensando que la doctora María me decía, doctor Muñoz, no soy doctor, soy padre. Comparto un poco de mi vivido, pero no para compartir esa parte de mi vida con las personas, sino es poder conectar con esa persona, hablar con ellos de una manera que quizás, por mi caso, a mí es lo que me pasó. Alguien me prestó la atención de sentarse conmigo y escucharme sin tener sus cuestionarios enfrente de ellos y empezar a hacerme preguntas, pero no verme, no ver lo que estuve sufriendo, lo que me estaba pasando. Y cuando entramos a trabajar con las personas, con las familias, y eso lo hacemos de varias formas. Puede ser referido de la comunidad, de la familia, pueden venir de los hospitales. Cuando las personas van a salir, les dan de alta, entonces nos llaman, hacemos lo que se llama reunión de red. Empezamos a tomar esos pasos de primer contacto con las personas, para explicar de la manera que trabajamos. Y ahí mismo empieza esa relación donde yo puedo compartir esa parte de mi vida y ellos empiezan también a veces a compartir eso con nosotros. A veces no y a veces sí, pero ya después de eso es otra reunión con la familia, los papás o con lo que ellos decidan que van a hacer sus redes. Y después de esa reunión se hace la reunión de alta con el equipo que está en el hospital y entonces empezamos a hablar más de los medicamentos, del tratamiento, de qué manera se forma el grupo y creo que la parte más importante es que ellos tienen que estar disponibles a trabajar con nosotros porque este programa es voluntario, no tienen que trabajar con nosotros. Pero si quieren, estamos dispuestos a llegar a casa y empezar a formar estas reuniones para que empiece su recuperación de la manera que un poco del trabajo que